Hi everybody, it's Craftin' Just Because with Chris Cowan. I hope everybody's having a great day. I'm gonna hopefully, I can't promise, but hopefully I won't be a hot mess like I was last week. We made a fun project, but man was I not organized like I usually can be. So I'm just getting my comments set up so I can see everybody. And we will get started here in a minute. My desk surface looks a little dirty. I'm going to wipe it off really quick. Okay. I think we are ready to start. So we are going to be playing with the Always, Forever and Always bundle. And I'm going to confess, I wasn't a huge fan of the lettering. Like I think it would be cuter with a different font. Hi, Kathy. Hi, both Kathys. Yay. But I loved the flowers. And then really honestly, the reason I bought this bundle was because I also loved the dies. So I liked that it layered together. So like there's the outline and then you can have the skinnier outline go on top of that. So that's really the main reason I purchased this bundle. But I have really had fun crafting and creating with this. And like I said, I love the flowers. I just wasn't a huge fan of the font that they used, but I've learned to make some great projects with it. So what we're going to make today is, it's this cute little diagonal box. And the inspiration was from the Paper Pixie, as you guys know. Hi, Jenny. I like to follow her. And why it was perfect for my project was I was at Walgreens and I found the coolest candies. So I put a little Velcro dot on there. But I found Smarties, but in this huge size. So there's 2 Smarties in this box. And I just thought it was so cute for Valentine's Day. So I wanted to make one for my son and then for my daughter-in-law for Valentine's Day for their little treat bags. So I made one and we're going to go ahead and make another one today. Thanks for sharing, Kathy. I did use... To showcase, I did use the new designer paper that you get if you sign up to be a consultant or are a consultant. I will tell you, I absolutely love the designs of the designer paper that you get just for signing up. I hadn't seen them that big either, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get these. They're so fun. So what I'm using today is some So Saffron cardstock, and then we have that new designer series paper, and then I went ahead and pre-cut out the dies. I did the love because we're going to be layering it up to make it a little thicker, and I just cut those out of our designer series paper. And then I have the 2 Smarties to add to that kit, or to that box. And I'm using So Saffron, the Blushing Bride, Highland Heather, and then we're going to tie it together with Pool Party ribbon. So let me move all of our little supplies here. Or actually, you know what we should do first before we start working with our big piece of cardstock is let's go ahead and get these layered. The words layered so they could set up and dry. So I noticed I didn't poke out some of the little pieces there. So I went ahead and cut 3 of the love dies, like I said, using our designer series paper, which, as you know, is a little bit thinner. I like Smarties too. Plus, right, they make you smart, so you have to eat them, right? That's what I tell myself anyway. Okay, so we're going to come in with our liquid multi-purpose glue. And I'm just going to carefully add. You could use your fine tip glue too. I don't happen to have that one on my desk right at the moment. So I'm just going to use this one. And I'm just going to layer these on top of each other. And like I said, the reason I like to do this is it really adds dimension to your project. And then we'll add the third layer. And what's nice about the liquid multi-purpose glue too is you kind of have a minute to adjust the layers. So now I'm going to do the L, and then we'll set those aside and start working on our box. If you're new to my channel, I will, when I share this video, it'll have a link to my blog, which will have all the directions and measurements for this project. And one more. Okay, so I'm just going to set those aside for just a moment. And then we're going to bring in our paper trimmer. And let me move some of this stuff, whoops, as I knock over my ribbon. Okie dokie. So what we have is we have a piece of cardstock that is cut at 8 inches by 9 1/4 inches. And so on the 8-inch side, what we want to do is we want to score it at 1 3/4, at 3 1/2, at 5 1/4, and at 7. Okay, then we're going to turn it to the 9 1/4 inch side, so rotate it 90 degrees, and we're going to score it at 1 3/4 on each end. So 1 3/4, and then I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to do 1 3/4 on this end. Okay, so now I'm going to put my paper trimmer to the side, and we are going to bring in our bone folder, and we are going to burnish all of our score lines. Okay, so now you have your piece of paper that looks like this. And I'm just looking at my directions here. Hold on just a moment. So we're going to move it. I want the 1-inch section up towards the top. Okay, and I want you to cut like this. So I'm going to show you how we're going to cut it off. We are going to cut from this 1-inch section all the way down to the second score line, but we're going to leave a little bit of a tab here. So what I want you to do is in that second box, I want you to do about a quarter of the box, and you're going to do that on both sides. Okay. And then you're going to cut this piece off. And my directions have a template so you could see what all to cut off. And then I want to tab these pieces. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, so now that's what your box should look like. And now we're going to do the same thing on the opposite end to the second score line. So I'm going to cut this just like this. Do the same thing on this side. And then I'm going to cut up the score line to that second score line. And I'm going to wedge it. I think I made a mistake. We might have to get a new piece of cardstock, my friends. I don't think I was supposed to cut up to the second score line. Oh boy. Let me read my directions one more time. Yep, okay, let's start this over. I cut too far up. My bad, my bad. Totally ignore what I just did. I knew that was going to happen, so maybe I am a hot mess express again today. We're going to make this right, my friends. It was so easy to make, and then I got carried away with my cutting. Okay, let's try this one more time. So we want this to be 9 1/4 inches by 8 inches. Okay, we're going to be back in business here in just a moment, my friends. So on the 8-inch side, we want to score it at 1 3/4, 3 1/2, 5 1/4. I guess what would it be alive if I didn't make a silly mistake, right? And then on the 9 1/4 inch side, we want to score it at 1 3/4 from each end. Okay. Now we'll burnish all those score lines. Okay. So what with the 1-inch section at the top, which is this section, Okay. So what we're going to do is we're not worrying about the 1-inch section. We're going to cut this just like I said and cut to that first score line. I just cut too many in. Okay. Let me make that a little more even. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to cut to the first score line with the bigger end towards us. And then we're going to wedge this up. Now I'm going to turn it to have that 1-inch section towards me. And this time we are going to cut to that second score line. Okay, that's what your template should look like. You want 2 boxes there in the center. Okay, so now what we want to do, so this is like looking like our box, right? We want to fold in our corners. Just like this. Okay. So that it looks like this. So I'm going to show you how we do it. I just folded it in and I pushed the score line up to that point, and then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Score line to score line. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to fold your box so that those squares are holding on to each other, and you're just going to trim about 1/4 inch above that score line. See how that looks? And you're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay. So now let's open it up because I want you to see what it looks like. Okay. Now we want to round the 4 corners here. So I'm going to bring my corner rounder. In. Okay. Now we're going to add our designer series paper to our box, and the measurements for these are you want one that is 3/4 of an inch by 5.5, okay? And then you want 3 that are 1.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And so 3 of them are going to go like this, but we're going to round the corners on this one and then the smaller one. So let's go ahead and round those corners before we glue them on. But you want those ones rounded and that one rounded. And you don't need one necessarily on the bottom of the box. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and round my corner. And do the same thing on one of my big ones. Oops, I almost did it wrong. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add my corner rounded piece on the bigger section. And then I'm going to add my corner rounded piece on the top section. And then I'm going to put one piece right below my top one.